Hey guys, Ryan Swain here. See the love here? Do you? Because some people don't. It's so interesting, all the messages that I get and all the comments that I get. I have just such a unique perspective because I'm able to receive all the projections from people that think they know me, but who really know that they don't know me because they've only seen, they've seen me through their lens. Like right now, you're watching me through whatever lens you have, okay? And your mind is taking in all of the information that it has. Oh, it's in a purple wristband, oh, and some spiritual beads. This thing here gets in the way for a lot of people. Sizing me up, who is this guy? How old is he? What does he have that I don't? How can he sit there with that grin on his face? Is he full of shit? See, the mind wants to figure stuff out innocently. It's good at it. It really is good at figuring shit out. But see, it runs up against a wall. And that's what happens in most people's lives. You run up against a wall and stuff starts to break down. You start to realize, like, you know what? I'm not happy. I'm not happy. And it takes a lot for some people to finally come to that, Okay, and I came out of Christianity, and it's almost like built into it, and it's subconscious, okay? So these words might not even resonate. Well, it won't resonate for people who are in it right now. But these words will resonate for people who have relaxed out of it. But built into Christianity is this idea of like, gotta be good. Gotta be, happy in essence. Because if I'm not good, if I'm not happy, then, if I get judged, if I get on the wrong side of the guy who's making the judgments, I will go down to a place of torment and torture where there's no second chance and it's eternity. Wow. And whether you realize it or not, okay, take a breath with me here, okay? This is where I just invite you to consider something that you might not really know fully, okay? So whether you realize it or not, that fear is woven into the core of humanity right now. That fear of, if I don't end up on the right side of the strongest person, who's the strongest thing, most people project that up to being God. If I don't be on the good side of that thing, then I'm out. Okay, call it a fear of death, call it a fear of abandonment, call it a fear of hell. It really doesn't matter. See, there's all cultures have different words, different stories around it, but ultimately it's the fear of that, what seems like bottomless pit that is within all of our hearts. Because if we really get into silence and we let all the distractions, all the people who we spend our time and energy with, if we let it all go, okay, and some of us have been there. Sometimes it's forced. Everything's pulled away from you, okay? And if you know what I've gone through in my life, I've had everything pulled away from me in a very short period of time. And that shit'll stretch you. Whoa, that shit will stretch you. And I know you've been there. Because we've all been there to a certain degree, okay? Some of us more than others, okay? But if you haven't been there yet, you will. And what there is, it's the point where it's like your breaking point, okay? Where all the bullshit beliefs, all the things you think you know, everything that you think you've got a handle on, and You know, you think life is a certain way, and then there are circumstances that kind of wrap around you like a snake, and ooh, and they just yank everything from you. They yank everything from you. And for those of you who've been there, for those of you who are in it right now, okay, I'm with you. I'm so with you. I am. Regardless of what you're going through right now, okay? Breakups, losing a loved one, divorce, okay? Losing the love of a child who feels like they turn on you because of, you know, another force that's there. And I smile, okay, at the end of that. And I know for people who are connecting over tough times, when that smile comes in, it can be a little bit of like, ooh, what's that? Why the smile? Because if things are hard, then what's the smile all about, you know? And that's good. That skepticism of bullshit is good. That is good. I love people who are skeptical of bullshit, because this guy is skeptical of bullshit. You hear me? There's a lot of bullshit out there. There's a lot of bullshit out there trying to look attractive and appealing. Okay? But we all share that part of us that when no one else is around and it's silent, we're there with our own feelings. And it feels like a bottomless pit. Like, whoa. That's why people do crazy things when they start to get into that pain. The word crazy, what I just mean by that is seemingly desperate, because it's like, whoa. You know, when people have what their identity is based on, you know, pulled away from them, it creates a super vulnerable situation. Because our identity is wrapped up in, you know, who we think we are. And you ask anybody, you know, who are you? They'll say their name. You say, well, who are you? And they'll talk about their family. No, but who are you? They'll talk about their job, you know, what they do. No. All of that aside, like, who are you? And as that kind of gets pulled apart, can feel very, 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 very vulnerable. It's even hard to say the word vulnerable. Because that fear that I talked about before, really, can you go there with me? Can you feel into it with me? Like, not just take my word for it, but like, go there with me, feel it. We're all afraid that when we're laid bare naked, fully exposed, you know, our physical body, sure, but just who we are, everything pulled away, everyone looking at us to see the essence of who we are. There's a fear that it's not good, or that it won't be judged as good. That whoever's doing the judging will say, no, this one's not normal. This one's not okay. This one doesn't get in. This one doesn't stay alive. That fear of, oh no. And it feels so wrong. Okay? Deep down inside of all of us, that part of us that will just fight for anything, that would fight to the end. That's the part of us that knows that we are good. So if somebody implies that we're not, if somebody, you know, touches on something like that, you know, there's, you know, you might be afraid of that conflict, but deep down, you know that you're strong, you know, whatever you are, it is good, and it is strong, and it is right, and it is okay, regardless of what other people's judgments have to say. But we live in a world where we feel like we're continually bombarded by other people's judgments, like we'll never get away. And that's the existential state, okay? That's humanity right now, guys. Just feeling like I could be myself if it wasn't for all these other people who are just assholes. You know, really. Like if you're at a party and, you know, everyone's having fun or whatever, and then all the bullshit drops, you know, like behind closed doors when you're with a couple people that you're connecting with, it's like, what the hell's going on in this world? Why can't people, you know, see it the way I see it? You know, or just, because then I could be me. If people saw it the way that I saw it, then we could all just relax, because to me it seems pretty simple, you know? But that's each person's belief system, okay? Everybody's got their different cultures and their different beliefs, so everyone's in that state. Like, oh, you know, life seems pretty kind of like easy to me, just be yourself, but then they get mad at me when I be myself, so you know, everyone's sitting around in that same mode, okay? But then there are those of us, and this is what awakening is, okay? Rather than staying stuck in that, where it's like, oh, you know what, if everyone just would think like me, then we could be okay. But they won't, and so, oh, I'm frustrated with them, and oh, maybe I could find some other people who are like me, and we could convince those guys to change, or maybe we could even, like, you know, get rid of them somehow, or shame them until they just, you know, put them in jail or something. Because, geez, I can't see life getting good until they're gone. That is the state of the world right now. That is why there are wars. That is why there is fighting, politics. You're right, or I'm right. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. I'm right. You're wrong. No, I'm good. You're bad. No. You don't understand. See, if you understood, then you would understand. Everybody's playing those games. All the cultures. People are trying to find what to identify themselves with. You know, there's a lot of racial stuff going on right now. You know, and the people who are like a mixture of different races. Like, whoa! I know I have friends who are in there. It's just like so confusing. People find their race, you know, or their identity wrapped up in race. But like, if you remember back to the words of Dr. King, like the whole point of the message was, guys, it's not about skin color. It's about the shared humanity. You know, take the bodies off. Take the skin off. Shut the lights the fuck off. And what's left are human beings that have the same emotions, joy, fear, love, you know, that like to laugh, that like to have fun, like to dance, like to be free. Yeah, we might do it in different ways, but that's kind of fun too, is to meet other people who do it and who party in different ways. And what's happened is humanity has just forgotten that it's a big party, okay? Because all the people, like, think of if you were at a real party where people were really having a great time. Think of the best party you've ever been to, where you just were in your element. You just knew everything was right with the world. And imagine people coming in and going like, no, you can't celebrate right now. There's stuff happening, something bad. Me. And then, you know, in that mode, you're like, you know what? If you want to have those negative emotions, like, I'm not going to tell you to not have them, but not here right now. Like, I'm partying. Go take them elsewhere. I love you, you know? But take that shit outside. Because right now, all is well with my world. And you can tell me about all the bad things that are going on elsewhere. Oh, and that's the state of the world right now. It's like anytime anyone wants to celebrate, people go, oh, no, but this bad thing's happening. Oh, no, but this bad thing's happening. Well, that's why the bad shit is happening. Because we're not celebrating. We're not coming together as humans and dropping all the bullshit that's between us. You know what I'm saying? It's so simple when you've got strength. Okay? It's so simple. You just look in someone's eye. And whatever's in the way, you just hold. You hold in the eyes. Whatever projections, you know, like right now, whatever you have of me, if you were sitting right in my presence right now, I'd just look you right in the eye and smile because I love you. Like, my heart is wide fucking open, okay? I don't care what you project onto me. I don't care what you try to do to write me off, to say this guy doesn't know this, or it's easy for this guy to say this, or, you know, all the messages that I get, hey, I receive it all, and it like I digest it into the black hole that is in the middle of my heart. Because this black hole is just nothing but love and light. It is. It just sucks in all the negativity around it and just shoots light back out. Okay? That's what's going on here. And the same thing is going on inside of you. I'm just strong enough to stand up and kind of say it in a way that people resonate with. Am I right? Are you with me? You know, we're a tribe for a reason. Because we vibe around the same truths. And the truth is that we are good. The people are good. Okay? That there is a light that's in all of us, and it deserves to be celebrated. And when people come around and say, no, 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 you can't celebrate that light because you did bad things and bad, you know, that's the darkness. Okay? And all darkness is an absence of light. So any of those thoughts that creep in, any of those voices that creep in that say, no, 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 things are bad, things are bad. Okay, there's feelings to be felt. Whenever it seems like things are bad, it's because there's feelings that need to be felt. And right now in humanity, there's a lot of unfelt feelings, unresolved stuff. There's a lot of racial shit going on in our country right now because it takes people to get together and look into each other's eyes and stop blaming and pushing and pulling and all this and just say, hey, you know what? That's what it means to have a clean slate, okay? To start fresh. It's because you look into someone's eyes and you say, you know what? I've expressed everything that needs to be expressed, and that has to get done, all right? People need to say, okay, but that's what holding a nice sacred space is. That's what I could do. You know, you get that's what I can do. So me and my buddy Paul, this is what we do here in Boulder. Anybody who's in conflict, who's willing, and this is key, who's willing to sit down and stay. Okay, if you need to take a break, you can take a break. You know, everybody needs to be able to express and get the stuff out of their system. Like I always talk about, there's stuff that needs to be felt, needs to be expressed. You can't just come together with smiles and pretend like everything's okay and can we reconcile? No, no, no. True reconciliation happens when the stuff that's in there gets expressed out. Oh, it gets freed, you know, and all that energy gets released and crying happens, whatever it is. Okay, whatever it is, it will dictate. And like that's what Paul and I do. We bring people together who are in conflict. Married couples, but you know, it takes people who can stay in it. Who desire to have reconciliation, it takes a certain amount of fortitude to come together and say, hey, I don't have all the answers. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I'm willing to surrender a little bit because I want reconciliation. Do you feel that little bit of like, but when people are all puffed up and pompous and like, no, 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 I know the best way. Like it's hard to reconcile when people are in that mode. So any situation where people have a little bit of an opening like, hey, you know what, I've been doing it my way and it just doesn't feel to be working and I would like a positive outcome here. I would like to stay connected to this person. I don't want to walk away. I don't want to leave. You know, whether it's groups of people or individuals, what we do is we hold sacred space and we provide that strength so people can release all that stuff. It's so beautiful. Release it all and have people there who can make sure that there's always connection. No matter what gets expressed, no one's going to get hurt. No one's going to get abandoned because we're going to stay in it. Okay, yeah, we'll take some breaks here and there. You know, we'll get some space if we need to. But at the end of the day, we're clearing everything that's there. Clearing all the gunk out. All that repressed stuff. Everything that's in the way between us and peace. You know, and for people, it's just all of their repressed energies, their stuff from their past, and that's what we do. Freedom, okay? We help people find their freedom. We found it ourselves, and now we just naturally do what we do, okay? And I don't do it for money or anything, you know? It's just this is me, being free. But I love the process of like conflict resolution because what it takes is strength. It takes strength. Strength that knows the goodness in all people. You feel that? Yes, because that's it right there. Strength is not our friend when it sees an enemy. Okay, if we feel like there's an enemy that's right there that we need help with, yeah, strength comes in, boom, pushes that away. But the strongest strength that there is, and this is capital T truth, is the strength that looks at everybody who's in conflict and says, hey, the strongest thing here is love. We are all connected. anything that we think bad about each other right now is just in the way between us and peace. So we just drop the ideas, drop the beliefs, drop the weapons, drop the fists, okay? Express what needs to be expressed. Rah, yell it out, okay? Dissipate it, get it out of our psyches, but we don't need to project it onto each other anymore. We don't need to try to hurt each other anymore, because people who are violent and who act out and who release that aggression on other people, okay, and I've never done that, okay, I've just, but people who do, okay, I feel you, I'm with you, like I can understand where when you feel like you're backed into a corner and life is pushing on you, like human beings lash out, okay, so there's forgiveness to be had, even for people who've harmed another in that way. There's forgiveness for everyone, okay? So I kind of lost what I was saying there. But basically, seeing the innocence in all things, all people. Okay? That's what I have found in my own life, okay? That's what I found in my own life. Call it bullshit, call me a fake, call me the Messiah. I get all kinds of projections, you know? And it's easy once you're in this place and the projections start to feel so far away. You know what I mean? Like, these are people who obviously don't know me. So when all their energies come, like either their love and their adornment, if that's a word, or their, you know, this, like as you get a distance from it, you just start to see like, oh, it's not personal at all. It's nothing about me. It's nothing about me. Okay, because from my perspective, it's like, you know, when these strong energies come up at me, obviously don't know me. Because if they knew me, they'd just be here with me in peace. And hopefully that's where you are with me right now. You who's watching, right here with me in peace. Because that's where I am. And it feels good. It feels good to feel like I've been through hell and back. And by hell, I mean like those darkest places that we've been. You know, and if you can't relate to that, maybe you haven't been there. Okay, but it can get pretty dark. It can get horribly painful when we have the deepest things pulled away from us, okay? But then we learn and we just know. And we don't have to do anything, but the strength of who we are is what is left over. Because when you pulverize everything, all that remains is the strongest. And what's great is from that place of strength, when everything else is destroyed, then there's just this beautiful tenderness, like a first flower that would be blossoming after a war that annihilated humanity. Think of the peace in that. It's the first flower coming up through the ashes. Certain strength to that, you know, but also delicacy. So, from this heart to that one, if you've stuck with me for 23 minutes and 16 seconds, it must be because we have a shared humanity. We have a shared goodness. And the words that I say, they might jostle you a little bit. They might piss you off even. They might light you up. They might do all kinds of things, okay? Because that's what my words tend to do. That's what my being, my character, that's what Ryan Swain has tended to do his whole life. Okay? Be himself in whatever form he believes is best. And it tends to ruffle feathers, but it tends to get shit done. Okay? And once I broke out of all of the beliefs that told me anything but be yourself completely, that's when things really exploded for me. And now I'm living in it, okay? I'm just living in it, as it, okay? Even with all the things that I've been through, even with all the hard times. I'm here and this smile is real, okay? This smile has been tested. This is not the smile that gets put on because there's a whole bunch of fear behind it and this is trying to avoid whatever might, you know, pierce the vulnerability. This smile is the result of having been pushed through everything and tested, and then the natural state of who we are just rises up, and it's just this smile. It's like I mentioned my friend Paul. He's on his way over here, I think. The night that I met him, you know, we had just met on Facebook. I just had an intuitive burst. I saw his profile picture, Paul Cooper. I was like, boom, I friended him, and I just intuitively knew, you know, this was like a year ago, maybe not even 9 months ago. And at that point in my life, I had already gotten to a point where my intuition was really driving things, and I just knew, like, hey, if you get an intuitive burst, you just follow it. And you just don't know the timing of it. But I just saw his profile picture, boom, friend request. And then months later, I was at a local eating establishment here in Boulder, which is the best. It's like the coolest little bar and restaurant here in Boulder called Bramble and Hare. And it's just really cool. Great atmosphere. Like, if you were with me here right now, like a little group of us, I'd take us there. In fact, that's where Paul is right now. He's bringing me some delicious food from there when he comes over here. And so anyways, I was there one night having a great night with some friends. I was just about to leave, and I got this tap on my shoulder. And I turn, and he's like, hey, are you Ryan Swain? And I was like, yeah. Who are you? He's like, oh, Paul Cooper. And I was like, oh yeah, we connected on Facebook? He's like, oh yeah. Hey, I'll come over to your house next week sometime, okay? I was like, yeah, okay. So I left. And so within the week, he showed up at my house, and I had some friends over, and he walked in. I was like, hey, Paul, come on in. And he comes up to me with this big smile like this. And I looked right at him, and this is who I am, okay? This is total sincerity. This isn't any machismo or anything. This is just who I am, okay? I looked right up at him, and I said, what's with the smile? And he was like, well, what do you mean? You got this big smile on, you know? And I said, well, that smile, what is it? And he's like, I like to smile. And I said, okay, well, a lot of people that I see with that smile are full of shit. So are you full of shit, Paul? And he said, no, I'm genuinely happy, and I feel good about life. And I could feel it in his energy, guys, when he said that, literally. And he was standing up, and I was sitting down. And I knew in those words, and he looked me right in the eye. He said, no, I feel good about life. I'm happy. I'm genuinely happy. Okay, and this was at a point where I was going through like a lot of turmoil a few months ago. You know, like 4 or 5 months ago, yeah. And so as soon as he said that and I saw the truth in his eyes, I sat down and I said, okay, what do you got for me, buddy? Because obviously intuition brought us together. What do you got for me? That smile's real. Right now I don't, you know, I'm off my center maybe a little bit. And he said, well, I just follow my intuition, and I work with people, and I do this thing, I call it freedom coaching, and I kind of just get brought into people's lives, like when they have, he said, when they have a bubble that's about to pop in their life. And I said, Paul, man, my bubble already popped, because I've had my world's been taken away from me, and here I am. I'm holding up, and I'm doing okay. And he said, yeah, I think I'm just here to just let you know that you're doing great. And I said, okay. And so Paul and I came together in relationship just around that kind of, and the strength, we saw it in each other's eyes. We said, wow, you know that you're good to your core, don't you? He was like, yeah, undoubtedly. You know it too, don't you? And I was like, oh yeah, undoubtedly. I'm totally rooted into the earth. No one could ever convince me that I am anything other than pure and good and totally fully and able to receive love in all forms. And I'm so worthy of the best stuff in life. And then I'm good and radiant in my core. And we saw that light in each other's eyes. And it was the first person that I met. You know, I had kind of come to this on my own. Just this deep-rooted knowing that if you haven't been there, it's hard to relate to. But it's just this, you know, for me, of course, because I'm a man, it's this masculine sense of like nothing could ever push me off my center. Nothing could ever cause me to doubt myself. And when I say doubt myself, I mean who I really am. Sure, I'll learn all kinds of things about myself, but the core of who I am, goodness, radiance, purity, integrity, love, understanding, openness. That is who I am, and that is who we all are. And then it was like, oh, Paul and I are like, oh, wow. It's like souls meeting. And so anyways, I'm going to end this video because my buddy Paul's on his way over here, and I'm maybe going to get things picked up before he comes over. So to you who's been with me through this, thanks for just accepting me for who I am, because I accept you for who you are. And if you were here with me live, right in person, not looking at me through a phone or a computer, I would give you a big hug. And I would say, I see the good in you, because it's in all of us. And we can party, we can celebrate. We can. Okay, there are bad things happening in the world, but guess what? Guess how those things change? When the light comes together and it reinforces itself within each other. And we know, like, wow, we are good. And from that place of knowing we are good, that's when people stop doing the things that we wish that they would stop doing. The time of blaming and shaming and imprisoning people to try to get them to act the way that we want? No, no, no. Anytime you judge off a part of, it's humanity. If we judge off a part of ourselves and try to punish it and shame it and blame it, that's part of us. It's like, it's literally like if your body's sick, like trying to like cut off your foot. To like, because that's where the sore is. Can you imagine that? If you saw a sore on your foot, it's like, well, just cut off the foot. No, that foot is part of who we are. Same thing is true. All mankind, we are one entity, humanity. And yeah, it seems like there's divisions and splits, but no, we are a body of humanity, and we are good. And as soon as we realize it and start working together, and that working together comes out of not blaming and shaming each other. And it's hard because there's a lot of feelings that haven't been felt. Okay, everyone's upset and everyone's feeling wronged and judged, and see how primal that gets when you're like feeling those feelings. But that's like when you come alive. You literally, you like raise consciousness or raise your vibration. It's light. Okay, we get closer and closer and closer to light, because that's what we are. Okay, only darkness says otherwise. All right, peace from me to you on this beautiful evening. Love ya. See ya.